Today we're talking about the horrific case of a guy called Lance Percival. He was a trusted taxi driver who turned his cab into a nightmare for this one vulnerable woman. This woman who trusted him to get her to her support services safely. Now, this isn't just one isolated monster. This is a stark reminder of how predators exploit their position of power over women, especially those with disabilities or mental health challenges. In rare good news, his sentence was actually increased on appeal. The real question we need to be asking is why, in 2026, are these cases happening so goddamn often? So Lance Melville Percival is a 65-year-old taxi driver living in Surrey. To the outside world, he was just another normal taxi driver, a regular person, the kind of taxi driver you'd think is safe enough to call for a vulnerable passenger. He often transported a woman who relied on him to get to her support services. He was someone in a position of trust. Percival knew that, and he used it. He used that everyday role, the one that society tells us is safe, and he used it to prey on her. And this went on for years. I mention this a lot. This wasn't a stranger in a dark alley. This was a calculated betrayal by a man who knew exactly how vulnerable this woman was. So between roughly 2021 and 2024, a full 5-year period, Percival would rape and sexually assault his passenger, his vulnerable passenger. He pleaded guilty to 16 serious charges. Those included 4 counts of rape, 2 counts of sexual assault, 2 counts of assault by penetration, and 8 counts of sexual activity with a person with a mental disorder impeding choice. He knew she could not consent. Her mental disorder meant she did not fully understand or have the capacity to say no in a way the law recognises as valid consent. And he exploited that every single time. Now, thankfully, a lot of these men are really stupid because he ended up getting himself caught, basically. He filmed himself committing these crimes. 16 videos were recovered from an SD card he kept in his wallet. In some of these videos, you can hear her telling him to stop, but he continues. This wasn't a one-off case. It was systemic grooming and abuse of his position as her driver. He abused her on the way to these very services that are meant to help her. Surrey police described him as a sexual predator who took advantage of her limited understanding. The victim never reported it herself because of that vulnerability. It only came to light when those videos were found. Who knows how long this could have gone on if those videos were not found, if he didn't film them. Living with a mental disorder already makes navigating the world harder. Now every ride, every interaction with a service provider is tainted by fear. This case just ripples out to women and girls who rely on these services, who rely on taxis, carers and support workers. How many vulnerable women are second-guessing every journey now? How many families are terrified to let their loved ones, their vulnerable loved ones, travel alone? On a broader scale, this is violence against women in its most insidious form, targeting those that society already fails to protect. Disabled women, women with learning difficulties, neurodivergent women face disproportionately higher rates of sexual violence, precisely because predators see them as an easy target. The power imbalance is massive, and when the justice system hands down an initial 12.5-year sentence, that gets called unduly lenient. It sends that ongoing message that these crimes against women are not taken seriously enough. This case makes me absolutely furious. It really exposes the ugly truth. The women's bodies, especially the bodies of vulnerable women, are still treated as disposable. Disposable in a patriarchal system that protects its predators more than it protects us. Why are these crimes still happening so often? We've had new laws, we've had awareness campaigns, we've done a lot, yet here we are. Another trusted man abusing a woman who couldn't fight back. Couldn't fight back in the way that society expects us to. Because society still minimises sexual violence against women. Because we also don't fund enough specialist support for disabled survivors. Because grooming and exploitation of power are not called out loudly enough in taxi firms, in every care service, in every corner of society. Women's rights aren't a side issue. They are central to a just society. When our vulnerable women aren't safe in a taxi, none of us are truly safe. We need cultural change, harsh sentencing as a standard. There should be mandatory training for anyone in a position of trust, in a position of power. And zero tolerance for men who prey on those who cannot consent. You'd think it'd be like that already, but it's not. So what can we do? So first, if you or someone you know has experienced sexual violence in any way, please speak up. Report it. There are people out there who will believe you and help you. There are organisations on the front line. Rape Crisis England and Wales. They're a charity that provides specialist support to women and girls who've survived rape and sexual abuse. The Survivors Trust also, a network of over 120 specialist rape and sexual abuse services across the UK. They support over 100,000 survivors every year. Also Women's Aid. They fight domestic and sexual abuse every single day. Donate if you can, volunteer, share their resources. You can sign petitions for better violence against women and girls funding and sentencing reform. It's like, come on, we've got to do better than this. This case shows that justice can be pushed for, and the increase in the sentence shows that. Real change only happens when we refuse to be silent. So thank you for watching. I'm assuming if you made it this far, you actually care about women's safety. So drop a comment below with your thoughts. What else can we do to make the world safer for women? And what more needs to change? You can like, subscribe if you want. Share this video. That's the most important bit, is getting all of this out there. And as far as it needs to go. Keep fighting. Fight with me. So no woman in this world, especially the most vulnerable, has to live in fear. So I'll see you in the next one. Ta-da!